Okay, so real quick, like, first instance of personal family being affected by AI scam calls.
That's Dwain Hall warning about scam calls days before he would be accused of murdering a woman from the UK who he met on a fetish website. The strange twist, Hall says that Sonia Exelby wanted him to kill her. I go through the unbelievable and tragic case out of Florida. I'm Angenette Levy, and this is Crime Fix. If you think that the crime stories that we cover here on Crime Fix are scary, wait until you hear what's happening with your personal data online. Your name, your phone number, even your address, it's all floating around the internet for data brokers to sell or for scammers to steal. Our sponsor, Incogni, lets you take back control. They find which data brokers have your info and demand they remove it. When I signed up, they found more than 50 brokers with my data, and within days, it started disappearing. Setup just takes minutes. Create an account, authorize Incogni to act for you, and they do the rest. And with their new unlimited plans custom removals feature, you can submit custom links where your data shows up, and a team of privacy experts will remove it for you. So if you care about your online safety, and you should, take your data back with Incogni. Use code CRIMEFIX for 60% off an annual plan. Dwain Hall is in jail in Marion County, Florida, facing murder and kidnapping charges. Investigators say that he tortured and murdered Sonia Exelby, a woman from the United Kingdom whose loved ones reported her missing in October. Hall claimed to detectives that Sonia wanted him to kill her. This case, it's incredibly sad and very disturbing. Last month, a man named Stevie posted on Facebook that Sonia was missing and described her as a vulnerable person who was really struggling with her mental health. Stevie wrote, "We believe she got on a plane on Friday and made her way to Florida, Tallahassee from the UK. We believe she has arranged to meet someone there and has got herself into an extremely vulnerable situation. That's all I can really say on that." Sonia, according to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, had missed her scheduled flight home to the UK from Florida on Monday, October 13th. Now, there was a lot of concern for Sonia. Police in the UK actually reached out to Interpol, and Interpol then contacted law enforcement in the United States to search for her. An affidavit states, according to information from UK authorities, Exelby had known mental health diagnoses and at least one previous documented police incident from 2024, which involved a credible concern that Exelby wanted to end her life and planned to travel to the United States with the intention of meeting with online individuals who would be willing to kill her violently. Exelby had possibly communicated with these individuals on Telegram. Telegram is an online application that individuals use to communicate more securely. That attempt was thwarted, and Exelby received treatment. Most recently, Exelby left evidence on her computer indicating that she was again considering ending her life and traveling to the United States to be possibly sexually abused, tortured, and murdered by unknown individuals living in the United States. Sonia had arrived in Florida on October 10th, a Friday, and planned to return to the UK 3 days later. Police said after she arrived at the Gainesville airport on October 10th, 2 UK phone numbers were seen roaming briefly in the United States, but then those phones turned off. Almost immediately, investigators in Florida were able to determine that 53-year-old Dwain Hall was tied to Sonia Exelby's trip to Florida. It really wasn't that hard for them to put the pieces together. Investigators wrote in an affidavit, during the time that Exelby was known to be in the United States, Solver Wolf's roadside assistants attempted to charge Exelby's Lloyd's bank account debit card on October 11th, 2025. There were 7 attempts at varying amounts within an approximately 10-minute time frame. All were declined. FDLE later found out that during the same time frame at approximately 1:10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a payment for $1,200 was successfully charged to a Tesco Bank debit card belonging to Exelby. FDLE contacted the owner of Solver Wolf's roadside assistance, Dwain Hall. Hall is the only current employee of this business. Of course, police went to talk with Dwain Hall, and police said he denied knowing Sonia Exelby at all. Detectives wrote in their affidavit, Hall was initially contacted on October 13th by telephone, and then on October 14th by telephone and also in person during the missing person case, and asked about the transactions. He recalled the declined bank card transactions and claimed that an unknown woman called him in need of roadside assistance the weekend of October 10th through the 12th, 2025. This woman was willing to pay him a large sum of money to respond and help her, but when her card was declined multiple times, he did not respond to assist her. He also claimed none of the charges went through. He stated multiple times he did not know Exelby, nor did he travel to meet this unknown woman to provide her assistance. Hall could not produce any information about the woman's car, location, nor cell phone records to support his assertion that he received a call from someone during the time he said he received the call and charged Exelby's credit cards. The evidence was mounting, and investigators say they verified that Sonia checked into an Airbnb that she rented in Reddick, Florida. Then detectives said they were made aware of messages on Discord that came from Exelby's account on October 11th. There are typos, so I'm going to interpret what they're supposed to say. The affidavit states this message appeared to come from Exelby's account sometime on October 11th, 2025. The message was long and at times disjointed. It starts by saying, "I'm sorry, he keeps taking my phone. He doesn't trust me with it." She then writes, "He made it clear there was no way out unless I shoot him. I was questioning it last night. I can't kill anyone." She went on to write that last night was so bad and he's in the shower, but I'm locked in and there is no signal in the middle of nowhere. She also writes, "I thought he'd do it quick and not give my mind time to stew and realize this is the last thing I'll ever do to anyone if I don't take his offer of shooting him. He showed me about to use it and where to aim it." She ends the message by writing, "I'm so scared. I'm so broken and in so much pain. All I can do is lay here, and doing what he wants makes him respect me enough not to do the things I really hate. Everything, but some are. I'm sorry, I don't even know what I'm saying, and I'm trying to be quick, and my time's up." The message indicated that the person who she was with wouldn't let her leave and that the same person always had a gun on him. Exelby did not name the person, but said he told her that the only way out is for her to kill him. Additionally, in this message, Exelby said this person made her record 3 disclaimer videos and write a letter to her family because he thought it was funny. All right, so I told you that investigators interviewed Dwain Hall, and they say he told them a number of different stories, at first denying he knew Sonia at all, and then saying that a high-profile client named Harold paid him to pick her up from the airport. Finally, investigators said that Dwain Hall admitted that he had met Sonia on a fetish website 2 years ago and that he had begun to mentor her. Hall's username on that site, Alpha Sadist. And there was more. Hall told investigators that he had violent tendencies, but that changed when his wife became ill. They wrote that Hall eventually admitted to having sex with Sonia, calling it vanilla. But then they found a 4-minute, 16-second video on his phone where he was questioning her. Hall had bruises and abrasions on her face and chest, according to the detectives. In the video, detectives said that Hall asked Sonia Exelby why she was there, and she responded, "Because I'm an awful person." And he then asks her why that is, and she responds, "I've crushed everyone who ever loves me." The video is incredibly disturbing. Detectives wrote, she goes on to speak about other reasons she believes she's an awful person and is visibly upset with tears in her eyes. As she is talking about this, Hall asks her how she would want to die and to describe it. She does not answer, and he then asks her what she has been consenting to here today. She asks him hesitantly if he means about the way he's talked about killing her. Hall asks Exelby about what treatment she consents to beforehand. She hesitates and then tells him to be stabbed. Hall goes on to ask Exelby about her treatment the last day or two, and she seems confused and then tells him that she doesn't remember because they've talked about so many different ways. Hall then asks Exelby about her face. She responds, "You've beaten me." He asks her if that is what she asked for, and she does not immediately respond, but then says, "I guess literally speaking." Hall asks if she is being forced or coerced. Again, Exelby does not immediately respond, and when she does respond, she only shakes her head no. Detectives said Hall told them that Sonia had promised to help him with some trouble that he was having with the IRS and that she would bring $4,000 with her to give to him, but she didn't. So that's why he charged that $1,200 to her credit card. Detectives said they searched the Airbnb and found evidence tying Hall to Sonia Exelby's murder. They wrote, FDLE searched the Airbnb and during that search located receipts in the trash that showed on October 10th, 2025 at approximately 5:47 p.m., Hall, using his bank card, purchased a paracord, gun cleaner, 50 feet of rope, and loom spray at a Walmart located in Gainesville, Florida. That same day at 5:54 p.m., Hall made another purchase at the same Walmart for a shovel using his same bank card. Surveillance video and transaction history confirmed that Hall was the one who purchased these items. Investigators said they found Sonia Exelby's remains buried on Friday, October 17th with a shovel that Dwain Hall bought at Walmart. An autopsy revealed that she had been stabbed to death. And get this, investigators say that Dwain Hall actually mailed a knife that he owned along with the knife sheath to a friend in Ohio. They say it was a black Cold Steel 7-inch Tonto knife marked Dork Wharf, which was a nickname his friend had given him. The investigators say that that knife had Sonia's blood on it. Also included in that package was some silver. All right, so to talk about this incredibly disturbing case, I want to bring in Mark Weaver. He works as a prosecutor in the state of Ohio and also sometimes as a judge in the state of Ohio. Mark, I mean, you've had some doozies in your day. This case, it is so disturbing. Dwain Hall is in a world of trouble, and it looks like they've got a mountain of evidence against him.
It's a good way to put it. He also picked a really bad state to commit this heinous crime because Florida not only has the death penalty, but is willing to carry out executions. If he had done this in states where there is no death penalty, it would be different. But yeah, the prosecution's case, based on what we know right now, is very strong. This guy is using credit cards, which create records. His car is being picked up on license plate readers, which creates records. He's using Airbnb, which creates records. He's sending the murder weapon across state lines to other witnesses in Ohio, the state where I prosecute. He's making all the mistakes that criminals shouldn't make if they don't want to get caught. And that's setting aside this notion of the pure evil that you would take advantage of a woman who clearly is mentally ill, who for some sad reason wants to take her own life. And he sees this as his opportunity to perhaps commit a murder that he had been hoping to commit for many, many years.
And that's what this really looks like. I mean, this looks like somebody who admitted to cops, according to the affidavit, that he had violent tendencies. Okay. But those went away for a little bit. He says, he's trying to minimize. This is how I'm reading it. Or like maybe this is how the cops want you to read it. Who knows? But he's got a knife. And as you mentioned, he sends this knife with blood on it, with a sheath, to his friend in Ohio with silver. And he says, hey, buddy, just hold on to this for me for a little bit. Can you just hold on to this for me for like 6 months until this storm passes? The storm might be pretty bad. I expect it to be maybe pretty bad. And of course, the cops, they reach out to this guy and they're like, did he send you a package? And they're like, yeah, he sent me a package. And they've got the knife with Sonia's DNA on it. They have the murder weapon. I mean, I just can't even imagine in what world, on what planet this guy thought, oh yeah, this storm will pass.
Yeah, it's a Category 5 storm, and it's going to hit them hard. If you think about it, you and I have done numerous programs discussing the Bryan Kohberger murders in Idaho, where he killed those 4 college students. It was really hard to find evidence tying Bryan Kohberger to those crimes because Bryan Kohberger, a graduate student in criminology, appears to have gone to great lengths to destroy and hide evidence. This guy's the opposite of that. It's almost like I used to teach law school for many years. And so if I had written a final exam where I put these facts in, students would have said to me, come on, can you be a little more realistic? No criminal would ever leave these many clues leading back to them. And as a result, it's a pretty easy case for the prosecutors, although perhaps we'll have future shows about this. If his defense is one of consent, now that's not recognized under Florida law, but he may go for jury nullification if he goes to trial, saying she wanted this to be done to her. She asked me to do it. I have her on video saying she wanted me to do it, and so I shouldn't be held accountable. I wouldn't certainly as a juror find that persuasive, but some jurors might.
But, they say when the cops write about this in this affidavit, they say basically that she looked scared when he's talking to her about this, and that it looked like she had changed her mind. She had sent these Discord messages saying she couldn't get out of there. And the guy said the only way she was going to get out of there is if she shot him and all this stuff. So it's like, it sounds like she wasn't really into it, and she was having bad internet service at the Airbnb. Also, Mark, how does the defense then explain the fact that she had a return ticket to the UK? If she really went across the pond, traveled across the pond for somebody to do this to her and to end everything for her, why did she book a return flight? That is a very important point, I think. What do you think?
That's a good point. We'll never know exactly what she thought. She clearly has mental health problems. She needed help. She needed intervention from somebody who would calm these fear or these desire for self-harm and to have somebody else harm her in her. Perhaps it was a fantasy. We know the internet is full of people who write about their, deeply disturbing fantasies. And maybe on both ends, both the victim and the murderer had fantasies about this, and the internet connected them, which is kind of sad. But no, I think you are right. There's all sorts of evidence to suggest that even if she wanted this at the outset, that as it was happening, she changed her mind. She's messaging to a friend. I don't want him to do this to me. This is causing more pain than I thought. And I do think there'll be a conviction on this unless something procedurally happens. The prosecution and the investigators ought to slow down real careful, because the only way this case goes sideways with this kind of evidence is if they make a procedural error and that would allow the case to be dismissed or changed because of that error.
Also, too, he says he's mentoring her for 2 years and really didn't want her life to end. This is not how you do that. That's not how you mentor somebody. If you're really, let's say you're into this whole, fetish website stuff, and this is what you're looking for, and she travels all the way from the UK to Florida for this, and you guys set up a rendezvous. Everything he did, this was not, he described the sex as vanilla. None of this sounds vanilla. I don't know if this is vanilla to him, then he needs to be put away for a really long time. And that's probably what will likely happen in the state of Florida. But to me, it's this is not how you mentor somebody, and this is not how you help somebody. It sounds to me like the cops are going to say, she came over, he was manipulating her. She was supposed to bring $4,000. She didn't bring the cash, and that made him extra mad. So he did what he did. And, it was almost like he was cajoling her. Even if she was regretting it, he was cajoling her and coercing her into consenting so he could have this. And then this is a guy that maybe wanted to kill somebody.
Yeah. The killer may have described this as vanilla, but the whole thing is tutti frutti and nutty. It's crazy.
It's a good one. Yeah.
It's really very upsetting. If he says he's being a mentor, I've been mentored by very kind people, and I've tried to mentor people in my career. A mentor wants what's best for the person that they're mentoring. And so if she truly had a mentor in her life, it would be somebody who would say, let's get you the counseling you need so you can see that there's no need for self-harm. There's no need to have somebody want to take your life. He didn't do that. He clearly took advantage of a very mentally and emotionally unstable person, killed her. It's not a defense in Florida for consent. This is a death penalty eligible case because he added another felony, in this case, kidnapping or potentially one of the sexual offenses. So it's a fairly straightforward case. Maybe like the Idaho case, the goal of the defense will be to simply get the death penalty off the table. But as I mentioned, unlike the Idaho case, there is no way that a jury goes acquits this person. It's really very hard to see that. There's no reasonable doubt here. And so given what I know about Florida, unlike other death penalty states, he's likely to be convicted within a year and executed within 10 years, which in death penalty prosecutions, which I've worked on throughout my career, is fast. You know, viewers might go, 10 years is not fast. In the world of death penalty appeals, 10 years is fast.
That is fast. So you think they will pursue the death penalty in this case? Because to me, it kind of screams for that. It cries out for that. I mean, this seems kind of like a guy who's kind of like a wolf in sheep's clothing a little bit. I mean, he looks like just this like tow truck driver, you know, roadside assistance guy driving around. And now you read all of this, and these allegations are so horrific. It's very scary. It makes you really realize just you could be out at the grocery store. It's like the guy standing in the produce section across from you looking at the sweet potatoes. It's like, oh my God, he looks normal. Or maybe you think he doesn't look a little normal, but maybe just a little like odd, but you just don't know what's going on with somebody up here.
Yeah, and we can't say he's had a life of crime. I mean, his previous record had been an adjudication for fishing without a license. And so in many cases, when we get to somebody who has killed somebody, we've looked at their criminal record and we see a long history of violence. That doesn't appear to be the case here. There's a long history of odd things in his life, particularly surrounding his family situation and other things like that. But he's not led this big life of crime that would made us predict that perhaps he's going to end it with murder.
No, not at all. It's and he's warning people on his Facebook about, you know, AI scam calls. So I was like, when I found that, I was just shocked. It really, really is something. And this poor woman, Sonia, her family and friends, you know, this is heartbreaking for them because they were crying out on Facebook, on social media saying, help us, please help us. You know, she needs help. I mean, they were desperate. And Interpol really, they jumped on this immediately. They saw the danger that she possibly was in. I mean, things moved very quickly, it seems, from the law enforcement end of this.
Yeah, let's give kudos to the law enforcement. Just reading the details of what they put forward in their affidavit for this case, they amassed so much documentary and digital evidence over a relatively short period of time. It's remarkable. I've worked on prosecutions where it takes months and months to develop this kind of evidence trail. And so great international cooperation, great cooperation between Ohio and Florida, and certainly outstanding work by the local investigators where this crime occurred. Yeah,
it very much so, but just so sad, so sad. And I really hope anybody having the feelings that Sonia was having will reach out, because there are places that can help to help with those feelings, and they can be fleeting. They can come and they can go. And I think this is clear that she was regretting traveling here from everything we're reading. Mark Weaver, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
So Dwain Hall is facing those murder and kidnapping charges. He also faces charges related to the use of Sonia Exelby's credit cards. He has pleaded not guilty to all of the charges, and he remains held without bond. That's it for this episode of Crime Fix. I'm Angenette Levy. Thanks so much for being with me. I'll see you back here next time.